back to another episode of Cooking with Lauren, and as always, I'm so excited to be making another recipe for you guys, and I'm excited to kind of keep this Thanksgiving theme going. If you did not watch our episode from last week we made a carrot cake cheesecake. It was amazing, and that's one of the desserts that you can take to your family's house this Thanksgiving if you're wanting to bring something over that's kind of easy but a little bit challenging all at the same time. So like I said, I'm keeping this Thanksgiving theme going, and today we are going to be making a roasted chicken. Now, one of my subscribers actually reached out and asked me to do this recipe. She said that she has some she's going to have some family coming over for Thanksgiving, and she wanted to like roast a few chickens, and I told her that it was such a coincidence because I definitely plan to do this for you this week on Cooking with Lauren, because I made this I think last week for dinner, and when I say Henry and I tore that chicken up, it was so good, and I knew that was something that I wanted to show you guys on Cooking with Lauren. So I'm so excited to be doing this recipe for you today, and the good thing about this recipe is that you can use it to roast chicken, but you can also use it to roast turkey. So everyone out there who's going to be in charge of making the turkey for Thanksgiving, then this is an essential recipe for you, and it's kind of lengthy, so let's go ahead and get started. So the very first thing that we're going to do to start our chicken is start our brine for the chicken. And if you don't know what a brine is, I'm so glad that you clicked on this video, because a brine is so essential when you're making like big cuts of poultry. So for example, the chicken that we're going to be making today is a decent size, and like your turkey. So the first thing that we're going to do is start on our brine. So you're going to want to start this recipe probably the night before, at least, especially if you're doing a turkey. You really want to start like noon the day before Thanksgiving, so that your chicken or your turkey has enough time to sit and marinate before it goes in the oven. So to start on the brine, if you don't know what a brine is, it's essentially like a water and sugar based water solution that penetrates the meat, and it's so important for cuts of chicken and cuts of turkey, because there's really no way for you to season the meat. You know, you ever like cut into a turkey or you cut into a chicken and the skin is seasoned, but there's no flavor to the meat? Well, that's what the purpose of the brine is. That salt and the sugar and all the other spices that we're going to add into the brine are really going to penetrate the chicken and the turkey, so that there's flavor throughout the entire thing. Because like I said, you really can't season the meat. Probably the breast, because you can go up under the skin, but not like the legs and the wings and the thighs that are just kind of hidden within the entire piece of meat. So to get started, you're going to need equal parts sugar and salt. So I'm going to put that in this big pot that we have here. A little bit of sugar and some salt, and this does look like a lot of sugar and a lot of salt, but you need that seasoning in the water, because like I said, that's what's going to penetrate the meat and really get it to be very flavorful. Next, I have 3 types of citrus here. I have an orange, a lemon, and a lime, and I've already zested all 3 of these because it takes quite some time to zest. So I went ahead and did that off camera, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the juice, move this out of the way. Put the juice of the orange, the lemon, and the lime into the, I didn't drop the orange, into the sugar and salt mixture. So this is the orange, and I'm going to throw the whole thing in there after I juice it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut the lemon. So that's why I said you need to do it overnight, because your chicken or your turkey is going to need to sit in this brine for a couple of hours. All right, so I got the lemon. I'm gonna throw that in there. So I'm making this chicken like early in the day. It's about noon right now, but we're gonna have this for dinner. So you see how early I'm starting out. It's just dinner, so I don't have to brine it as long as I would do a turkey. I think you might, I don't even know how long you're supposed to brine it. I think it's like 30 minutes per pound or something like that. And then I'm putting the lime in as well. So it sounds a little bit sweet, you know, having sugar and having salt in the brine, but your chicken or your turkey is not going to be sweet. So don't overthink, you know, putting sugar in the water. It just flavors the meat altogether. All right. This is hard. These limes are hard. So I got all that in there. And to this, I'm going to add the zest of the orange, the lemon, and the lime, because that gives it so much flavor. And if you don't have a zester at home, you can just peel off the skin of the orange, the lemon, and the lime, and that'll work just fine. I'm also going to add some pepper. If you have peppercorns, that'll be even better. And then I'm going to add 2 bay leaves. So this is what our brine is looking like right now. It's smelling really good. The citrus is coming through. I can smell the salt, the pepper, the sugar, and all of that zest. It smells really good. Next, we're going to add water to this pot. Go ahead and put some water in it. It's probably about 5 to 8 cups of water, and I'm going to whisk this up just so that the sugar and the salt combine. And if it's not dissolved, that's perfectly fine. The sugar and the salt will really start to dissolve once we put it on the burner and get it boiling. I'm just giving this a quick little whisk. And I'm going to put this on the burner, and I'm going to boil this for about 15 to 20 minutes, just until the oranges, the lemons, and the limes really start to break down and they're really soft to the touch, or like fork tender. And then afterwards, I'll show you what we're going to do with our brine next. While the brine is boiling away, now is the perfect opportunity to go ahead and wash and clean your poultry. So whether that be the chicken or the turkey, of course I'm working with the chicken today, and I've already went ahead and cleaned it. And I can't stress enough how important it is to buy like a good cut of chicken or turkey, because just for example, last weekend I got a chicken from ShopRite, and this week I got it from Giant, and this week's brand is by Purdue. I can't remember which brand I bought last week, but I could instantly tell the difference in the quality of meat when I unpackaged the chicken today. The Purdue, the chicken skin is much softer, and it took me little to no time at all to clean the chicken, whereas the last week with the ShopRite brand that I brought, the chicken skin was much tougher. The chicken was a little bit smaller, and it took me almost like an hour to clean the chicken. It had like some feathers here and there, and what else did I have to clean? There was like a lot of hair on the chicken that I had to clean off. And like I said, with the Purdue this week, I hardly had to do anything. It was really already clean. So I just like cut off. Sometimes they leave a little bit of the head of the chicken on, which is just so gross. So I just like cut off the little piece of the head of the chicken neck. I took out like the gizzards and stuff from the inside, but it was pretty much clean. So if you want to save yourself some time, it's going to be a little bit extra money, but I would definitely say to go for the Purdue brand or a more reputable brand chicken. All right guys, so I just took our brine off of the hot flame back there, and I'm going to pour it in this bowl of ice that I have sitting in the sink. It's filled up about halfway with ice, a few cups. Now if you're doing this a day ahead of time, then you can just sit this on another burner, or transfer this to a different bowl, or even a heavy duty plastic bag. Sometimes they have brine bags in the store, and you can let this come to room temperature. But because I'm doing it the day of and it's just like our nightly dinner, I'll just pour it in some ice. So I'm gonna put this in here, and that's gonna cool down our brine. Because when we put the chicken in here, we can't put it in some hot water. It's gonna cook the chicken. So I'm just whisking this up so the ice can distribute evenly and cool down the brine. And as you can see, the brine took on a nice like golden brown, almost like a sage green color. Let's see. Still a little warm, but I'm out of ice. So I'm gonna put this in the freezer to cool down. So I just put our brine in the freezer just so that it can cool down a little bit more. You want it like room temperature to cold so that we don't cook the chicken when we put the chicken into the brine. And then I'll be back in about 15 minutes. Taking the brine out of the freezer, just gonna give it a quick little whisk. Oh yeah, and it's definitely a little chilled now. So I'm gonna add the chicken. Ugh, chicken juices. Ugh, I hate working with chicken. It's just so much contamination. Okay, so we're gonna put our chicken into the brine. Make sure it's submerged into the brine. I'm gonna probably have to pour some of this brine off because I don't want it to overflow. Yeah, let me pour some of this off. All right, so I put the chicken inside the brine and I'm actually gonna flip it over. I want it breast side down because that is the most important part to me. The butt, like the underside is whatever, but I want to make sure that a majority of the chicken is submerged. You can also add like things on here to weigh it down. That's what I'm going to do. We're add a few pieces, a few containers to like submerge the chicken under the brine. There we go. So we're going to let this technically just like submerge and marinate for a few hours. I'm gonna probably, it's 2:45 right now. I don't want to serve dinner around like 6:30, so I'm gonna let this sit for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. But if you are making this a day ahead of time, and if you're making a turkey, definitely submerge your turkey or your chicken for up to 24 hours to really penetrate all of that flavor. And this, I'm just gonna let this sit in the fridge for 2 hours, and then afterwards I'll show you what we're gonna do with it. Our chicken has about another hour to marinate. So while that chicken is finishing up in the brine, I'm gonna get started on the pot of vegetables that our chicken is going to sit on. So I just have this Pyrex pan here. It's oven safe, and what is this? I think this is like a 13 inch pot. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on our carrots and our potatoes. And one thing that I really love about this recipe is that essentially it's a one pot recipe. You can make the entire dinner in just this dish. So I'm gonna serve it up with some carrots and some red potatoes, y'all. It's gonna be so bomb. If you wanna add another ingredient like onions or celery, what have you, you can add all of that. But before I add the carrots, I'm gonna put some olive oil down just so that they don't stick. Then I'm gonna add the carrots to the pan. These are already washed and cut because look, when we're getting ready for Thanksgiving, no one has time to be trying to cut all the produce. So just get some freshly washed and cut baby carrots and it'll just make your life a ton easier, okay? So carrots are down. I did, however, go ahead and peel my, wash my red potatoes. And these are just like small baby red potatoes, but I'm going to cut them down so that they cook a little bit more evenly. And I like red potatoes because they're very sweet compared to like a traditional russet potato. And I like that you can leave the skin on. The skin is very thin and, like I said, very sweet, whereas the russet potatoes, they have a little bit more of like a earthy taste and texture. So I'm just gonna cut these into quarters, leaving them a little bit big because the chicken will be in the oven for a few hours. So you just wanna make sure that they hold their shape while they're in the oven. So you don't wanna cut them too small. So I got our potatoes and our carrots in here. They're looking good. I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top. And then I'm gonna season these as well, even though it's not gonna need much seasoning, because when I tell y'all, the chicken is just going to add so much flavor to the potatoes and the carrots. It's gonna be so good on its own. So I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic and herb seasoning. Also going to add some salt. Yes, and some pepper, y'all. This is already looking and smelling so good. So just add this. Break up some of these potatoes. All right, so this is all set. So whenever our chicken is done and we're finished seasoning it and everything, we're just going to nestle that chicken right on top of these potatoes and the carrots so that they create like a foundation and almost just like a sense of protection for the chicken. The chicken is just going to, all the juices are just going to cook down and add flavor to the carrots and the potatoes. And y'all, this is going to be one tasty roasted chicken, okay? Right, our chicken has been in this brine for 2 hours. I just took it out and now I'm just gonna pat this bad boy dry. If you got some of that lemon, orange, or lime zest, you can just brush that off. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how flavorful and tender and juicy this meat of the chicken is going to be. Now be generous with this seasoning, y'all. Nobody want to eat no chicken that doesn't have any flavor. So we're going to do a few different things. First of all, we are going to stuff the inside cavity of this bird. So not only, it's just going to give it a ton of flavor. So anything that you add to the cavity of the chicken will just cook up and into the flavor of the meat, y'all. So we're going to add some onion. Cut this, take the skin off, and I'm gonna just add this and cut off the skin part. I'm gonna add this whole right into the cavity of the chicken. So add that in there. I'm gonna add another piece. And this is a Vidalia onion, which is nice and sweet. And then other thing that I got is this poultry blend. It's rosemary, sage, and thyme. And I'm just gonna tuck this in there as well. And this is just gonna cook and flavor this bird. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be amazing. The last thing that I have is some garlic. I'm just gonna cut this garlic in half. Leave it all intact because we're not going to eat this anyway. This is just for flavor, of course. Cut this in half and hopefully I can stuff all this in here. Let's see if I can get it. Stuff all of this right in the bird. Yes, yes, yes. Imagine how much flavor this is going to give our chicken. Okay, all right. I was able to fit it all in there. I'm surprised. Okay, now we got time. Now it's time for the seasoning of this chicken. So first I'm gonna go in with just a basic seasoned salt, and make sure that you just cover the chicken evenly. And like I said, be generous with the seasoning. So make sure that you're getting the legs, the wings, the thigh meat. Not just the breast and the top. Make sure you're getting every piece of this chicken. And then I'm gonna go in with this Olive Garden garlic and herb spice, okay? It's so great. I use this in pretty much anything. You gotta be careful though, because it'll really make you, I don't know about you guys, but it really makes me start to, like once it gets in your nose and stuff, it's really strong, but it's a ton of garlic flavor. See, I'm already choking. That's one of my favorite seasonings. And then I'm gonna go in with some plain salt. And then I'm gonna turn it over and season the opposite side the exact same way. Now we are gonna cover this in olive oil and just massage all of the spices into the chicken. And the olive oil will help it stick and crisp up the skin. Don't forget to pick up some of the seasoning right off of your countertop. Oh my goodness, y'all. And see, if I had more time, I would let this marinate again. So I would let this marinate again for about 2 hours if you have the time. please go ahead and do it. And don't be afraid to rub up under that skin. Put some of that seasoning up under the breast and up under the thigh, so that that seasoning kind of penetrates the breast and the thigh meat. So we're all good on this side, and I'm gonna just turn it over and do it again. I don't want to contaminate my olive oil. Ooh, a little bit too much. So I'm just gonna massage all of these good spices all, oh dang, my garlic fell out. All over the chicken, the wings. Don't forget the wings, y'all. Do not forget the wings. So this looks really good to me. Just pick up any extra seasoning that I see, and again, get up under that breast. Make sure that it's seasoned up under there as well. This is amazing. It just looks, if y'all could smell this through the camera, yeah, this looks good to me. I'm going to tie the legs of the chicken together, and that's because the breast will take a little bit longer to cook than the legs. So when you tie up these legs with twine, that'll ensure that the breast and the chicken, the breast and the legs, they cook evenly, and that the legs won't dry out while you're waiting for the rest of the chicken to cook. So I'm just going to tie these up with twine. You can get twine from the grocery store, especially since it's Thanksgiving time now. You'll be able to find this really easy. And we'll cut this off later when it's time to serve it. So I'm going to put about a half a cup of water at the bottom of the pan, just so that our carrots and our potatoes don't stick, and they shouldn't, because the chicken will make its own juice. But just in case, if you have chicken stock, go ahead and use chicken stock, because it'll add more flavor than the water. And now we're going to just sit our chicken right on top of the potatoes and the carrots. Look at that. Now that is not a bird, okay? I don't know what is. And then the very last thing that we're going to do for color is just, we're going to add some parsley on top to give it some really nice presentation. Oh my goodness, y'all, I really outdid myself with this one. You know, I really just thought this was going to be a little basic something, but I really outdid myself here. I really did. It's ready to now go into the oven. It's going to go in on 250 degrees for 1 hour, and then we're going to crank the heat up to 350 degrees for 1 more hour, and then it'll be ready to serve. Go ahead and plate up some of these carrots and potatoes. Oh my goodness. Let's plate this up first, and then I'm gonna cut up the chicken, y'all. This is a delectable meal. It's getting me right in the mood for Thanksgiving. I cannot wait, okay? Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, the chicken leg came right off. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Yes. This is Henry's favorite part, the breast. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's just falling right off the bone. Look at, oh my gosh. If y'all could see and hear how moist this chicken is though. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And I got a leg because I feel like the legs are the best piece. I'm so excited to try this. Oh my God. This chicken is so tender and flavorful. Oh my God. It's like falling off the bone, y'all. Let me try these vegetables and the rice. Y'all, let me get into these potatoes. Yo, the potatoes are cooked perfectly. They are so soft. You could really mash these up. It's so tender. It's so tender. Oh my God. Yo, the meat has so much flavor. I cannot stress the importance of a brine. It just penetrates the meat and flavors the meat so well. Oh my God. Look, I can't sit on here that long because this is our dinner and I could really finish this whole plate standing right here, but I can't. I gotta sit down and eat dinner with my husband. So that completes this episode of Cooking with Lauren. Please, please, please make this dish. I want to see you recreate it. And if you do, make sure that you send me a message on Instagram, and I'll put my Instagram down here. Or you can use the hashtag Cooking with Lauren so that you make sure that I can see when you recreate this dish. I am just so excited to be pumping out more and more Thanksgiving recipes for you guys this month. So stay tuned. I don't know what I'm doing next week, but it's gonna be something good. So I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, different recipe. Bye guys.